Are the thoughts you're having serving you? Hello, friend. Welcome back to the Finding Freedom podcast, where we talk about how to feel more calm, connected, heart centered, grateful, abundant, and empowered so you can find true freedom and create the life you were meant to be living. In today's episode, we'll be talking about shifting our thoughts and how to do it. You have a lot of thoughts. It's said to be something like 70,000 a day. And of those 70,000, something like 80% of them are the same ones on repeat. I'd say that many of these thoughts revolve around survival, like money and our health. Then we have those thoughts about others, what people think about us, especially if something happens to us during the day and we feel upset or disappointed in ourselves. We may also be concerned with the welfare of others, especially if there's someone who's not well in our care or in our family. We also have thoughts about our self-worth. I look so ugly, I'm so fat, I'm so stupid, or even worse. Then there are thoughts about the list of things to get done for the day and how we're going to make these happen. The thoughts that revolve around complaints about our life, that those thoughts that go, I wish I could have this or do this or feel this or be like that person. Then there are the stories we tell ourselves about the past. These can be thoughts that come up during the day. I was raised in a tough family, so I'm like this. My life is hard because of this. Stories also that we tell ourselves about the future, maybe in our thoughts. Like, how am I going to insert something that revolves around survival usually? Now, ideally, you want your thoughts to be positive and uplifting and take you to a place of love and gratitude, of ease, of trust, and of flow, because these are the thoughts that really serve you. But in order to change your thoughts, you've got to be willing to go there. You've got to be open to seeing that they could be different, that how they are right now is pulling you into this place of fear or lack. Because when you're feeling shitty about something, it's always reflected in your thoughts. And as a result, you create that feeling in your body. Every time I feel low, I really do wonder why I choose to go there, why I don't pull myself out of it rather than linger within it. I'll even sometimes reinforce how I feel by telling a friend, my God, I'm so tired today. Why am I so tired? We can be absolute masters at going to that low place, or worse still, a hard or a dark place. But you, my friend, are a master of telling your body how to feel. But these feelings, they were created a long time ago, usually due to something or several things that happened in your past that had you feel a certain way. And then in that moment, you decided to believe something about life or about yourself. And that belief became your physical reality. And so now you live by it, sometimes completely unaware. And when you reinforce and train yourself to do something and think and feel certain ways based on a belief you formulated, let's say that way of thinking and feeling is always like it's the end of the world for you. Well, you become the master at recreating this feeling anytime someone says or does that thing that triggers that belief. And then you relive the past, and now life is hard. Now it's the end of the world and you can't get off the couch to go to the gym, or you don't want to do the things that you were planning to do that day, and so on. Of course, this is all subconscious. It's all happening without awareness most of the time. When you hear people talking about being asleep, That's all it is. It's a lack of awareness. And we're all at different stages of awareness, of consciousness, as we walk our way through our lives. So as you start to question things and want things to change in your life, that's when you start to poke holes in how you're doing things. And then you start to become aware of how you're thinking and feeling and what beliefs you've been living by your whole life. Even someone you look up to who seems to have their stuff together still likely gets triggered and has their days that they find challenging mentally, where they have to overcome a belief that they created. We're all the same in this respect. But once you're aware of something, then you can try to turn this around by creating positive thoughts and empowered beliefs. But it's not that simple at first. What do you think your body's going to do when you suggest that it feels better or happier or grateful or joyful? It's going to rebel. It doesn't feel comfortable feeling the good stuff. Feeling positive might be that thing that woman you follow online and aspire to be like does, but not you. Nope. That feeling is not for you. You want to be comfortable feeling the familiar thoughts and feelings, right? You want to stay low when you go low, right? Even though you're saying to your friends, why is my life so shitty? Why does this same stuff keep happening to me? Saying that you want to not feel that way, but knowing secretly that you actually find a little pleasure in the lows. Now, my friend, you may think I'm being dramatic, but every day is a battle for many of you out there. Some days are hard for me too. And it is absolutely on us, on each and every person listening to this podcast, to figure out how to pull yourself out of the sludge, because absolutely no one can do it for you. And because everyone has their own sludge to try to crawl out of, it's hard for them to know you're going through the same thing, unless, of course, you tell them. But even then, they may still not get the depth of your feelings or experiences because they're living their own reality. So there is absolutely no judgment from me. I have by no means conquered this brain and body of mine yet. I do try, though, every single day. I also have the tools that work, and I use them regularly to maintain a more steady emotional state and balanced thoughts. But I won't lie, sometimes it's a real struggle. After all, my inner authority in my human design chart is emotional, so I feel deeply. But where the power comes in is in the awareness, but also in the understanding that if you can create a state of mind that is low and you can master this creation, then you also have the power to create a state of mind that is high. And I don't mean happy. Of course, happiness is awesome. Happiness is amazing. Feeling good is fun. We all want to feel good. But it's fleeting. Because everything is temporary and emotions are going to change constantly as you experience things in life. So it's less about trying to create a feeling of happiness or just generally feeling good, and more about establishing beliefs within your subconscious that are empowering. Thoughts and feelings that give you grit and resilience to overcome anything you experience and not give your power away to anything or anyone else outside of you. Because no one's coming to save you from yourself. But there is a way out, and it's not even that hard. But it requires consistent effort. It requires a desire to change. It requires a desire to continually become aware and awake to all of the ways you're doing and being and feeling and thinking that aren't serving you, and deciding to do it differently because you desire something different. So continue to live the same way, think the same way, and you'll create more of what you're creating right now. And let me say again, there's no judgment from me in you choosing that. If where and how you are now is where you want to stay, then go for it. Live your life. For all I know, you're absolutely smashing it. But let me remind you of that character in a movie or a TV show, or even that person you have met before in your life, or you still know, who you label as a grump, a stick in the mud, someone who's always stressed or on edge or anxious or depressed. That person has just developed a personality around their beliefs, how they have been thinking, and how they have been feeling for most of their life. It's all just built around belief systems. So change the beliefs, you change the personality. It's the same for that person who you admire and aspire to be like, who is always kicking goals and creating magic in their life, always growing. This person has a growth mindset who's constantly looking at ways to upgrade and evolve and not live in the comfort of the old beliefs that held him or her back. It's always a choice. But once you're aware of this choice, would it feel right to choose to give into the low vibes on a regular basis? I can tell you it's a no from me. Okay, friend, this intro was a long one, but I hope I've really communicated how passionate I am about this particular work. You know, a lot of people tell me that, no, it's not how I think and how I feel and what I believe. And honestly, anytime you're having some sort of struggle in your life, it is about how you feel. And that feeling came from a thought. And usually you've thought that thought many, many times, and there's a belief behind it. And it might be a subconscious one, or it might be a fairly new one. Usually it's not. And that's why I love talking about this stuff, because it's just so important and it's so powerful to create real transformation within us, to really, truly find freedom. We have to learn to take control of the one thing we can take control of, and that is our mind. You can't control that person who doesn't like you, who says nasty things about you. You can't control what happens in society, decisions the government make, rules about things. Sure, we can try and have an influence on some things, but the one thing that you can control is yourself, and that means how you think and how you feel. Again, there's nothing wrong with feeling low, but we don't want to stay low. We don't want to stay small. We don't want to stay limited and weak and vulnerable. We want to shine. We want to grow. We want to upgrade and evolve and become the best, most empowered version of ourselves. That's what I want for you. That's what I want for me. All right, let's move on. There is a recording I'm going to share with you now. I did it several months back, but I wanted to include it in the podcast because the stuff that I share is too good not to share. Repurposing a great message is always, always worth it. So please take a listen and let me know how you're feeling after this, and reach out if you want more guidance in this area. Also, a reminder that this week is my monthly breathwork class, the last one for 2023. It's on Sunday, the 3rd of December at 9 a.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. That means 10 a.m. in Melbourne or anywhere that's Australian Daylight Savings Time. It is 7 a.m. Perth time. It is midday in New Zealand. And if you're in the US, it is 3 p.m. Saturday the 2nd, so the day before, PST. Of course, if you're in a different zone, please check out TimeBuddy for the time zone. If you haven't been to my online breathwork before, but you'd like to try it, use the coupon code BREATHE to join for free. You'll find the details to sign up in the show notes below. Enjoy the rest of this podcast, my friend. So much gratitude for your presence today.
By the time you get this email, I will be on my way to my next house sit. And for those of you who aren't aware, I'm currently living in Queensland. I moved here from Victoria in around May of 2023. Now, because I don't really know much about Queensland, I wanted to see the place a little bit. So I decided to house sit. So that way I can see some places, I can have a solid base for a while, provide both myself and my cat George, who's traveling with me, with some stability and some security and some peace of mind, that I'm not having to constantly pack everything up, live out of a suitcase and so on. I want to feel like I live in this location for a period of time. And that's what I've been doing for these past few months. So, for example, I've done multiple things that locals would do here. I've joined a yoga class. I've been to the gyms here, to the chiropractor, massage and other therapists. I've had dental treatments. I've had my car serviced. I've been to the local walking spots. I saw a psychic. I've been to local markets, shopping malls, and much more. I've even made some friends. So, traveling can get lonely. So I've had several gatherings and get-togethers. For example, I went to a winter solstice gathering with a bunch of yoga friends, and I went to visit a waterfall and to have lunch, and I did an all-day meditation with some other like-minded people. I've also met with several people from Victoria who have been visiting Queensland. So my 3 months has been very busy and a lot of fun. You could say, I guess, that I've been doing, all the regular life stuff just to have as real an experience as I can, to see if it's a fit for me or not. But also just to have an adventure, because that is my nature. In fact, it's even my soul number in numerology is all about adventure. So it's definitely a big part of me to travel and explore and enjoy other places and people. So I'm very happy to be having this experience. Anyhow, this 3-month house sit is coming to an end. And as the end approaches, after being comfortable here for 3 months, I've become very aware of all the thoughts my mind is bringing up for me. And they're often not the nicest or most understanding or compassionate thoughts either. For example, I've had the thought, it's a long drive to my next house sit. It's about 6 hours. It's going to be so hard. What do I do? Where will I stay? How will I find accommodation? There's so much to do here in terms of packing up and cleaning. It's such a big house and a big property. Will I get it all done? Will the current owners be disappointed when they come back to their house? Will they give me a bad review on housesitters.com? Or will they be upset with me for something that I did? I've also had the thought of, I just don't want to pack up and move. I'm so comfortable here. It's so hard. Maybe I should just find my own home so I don't have to keep doing this. I've also had the thought about how I have to do everything alone. Why can't someone do this for me? And then thinking about where I'm going, I've thought things like, I bet the next place won't be as comfortable as this one. This place has been a real blessing, and I bet the next place won't be as good as this. What if the next place smells or is too small or something bad happens? And then George, what if George hates it? What if the dog that I have to look after in the next place hates George? I don't want to cause him or the dog stress. What if I've made the wrong decision? So many thoughts, right? So much noise, so much negativity. So in order to shift these thoughts, the first thing that has to happen is I have to become aware of the thoughts. Once I was aware of the thoughts, I decided that I'd had enough of them. It was time for them to go. It was time for me to change them and create something more magical for myself. Because remember, you are the creator of your reality. So firstly, I am going to start thinking, I am going to be fine. I will find the best accommodation and George will have a great time traveling to the next place. I've also decided that rather travel directly from here to the next destination and do that very long journey of 6 hours plus of travel, that I'm going to break it up by staying along the Sunshine Coast and the Central Coast before I meet the next house sit. So this will be like a mini holiday for a few days and it will be so exciting for me. So the thought that I'm going to have and that I'm having is the journey to the next destination is going to be so fun. I'm going to have great accommodation. And because I'm only driving a few hours at a time, I'm going to really enjoy myself. In terms of packing, my new thought is it'll be a breeze packing everything up. And I also have evidence for this, right? I've done it before. I did it the last time I packed up from Victoria to come to Queensland. And I did all of that in one day. So this time I'm going to not worry about it. And I'm going to think this time, give yourself a week, do it slowly. And that way you can do what you want also. You don't have to feel stressed or rushed and you get to enjoy your last week. Thinking about the future and what my thoughts will be there, I'm now thinking, I've loved being in one place, but I'm so excited to get to the next. I can't wait to see what it'll look like. And I'm only going to be 15 minutes drive from the beach. In this place, I'm like an hour from the beach, and the temperature will be much warmer there. I can't wait to go on my next adventure. I'm also now thinking George is going to love the car ride at the new place and even the dog in the next house. We are all going to coexist well. It's going to be a peaceful environment and we're all going to have a great time. And beyond this house sit, which my brain is most definitely thinking about, I'm going to think that I'm going to get yet another house sit, again further north, that is going to be perfect for us. Now, after we become aware of our thoughts, and I like to write them down, and then I write down the thoughts that I want to have, the next step I take to really anchor these thoughts into my reality is to feel them, right? Because the thoughts create the emotion, which then creates the reality that you experience. So if I'm thinking this is going to suck, then I will feel that in my heart. It'll feel horrible. I'll feel hopeless and powerless and desperate and scared. And so I will then generate and create my reality from this place of fear. So what I want to do when I change these thoughts is I want to then create the new emotions that go along with these. So when I'm thinking, I'm so excited, I'm also feeling that in my heart. Oh, I can't wait. And then what do? I use my imagination to see myself having cleaned everything up slowly over the last week, seeing everything packed up in the car, meeting the owners of this place and having them tell me that everything looks great. And thank you so much, Bianca. You've done such a wonderful job looking after our house and our animals. We'll give you an excellent review on Aussie House Sitters. I'm not affiliated with Aussie House Sitters, by the way, but it is a great website if you'd ever like to house sit. I'm also seeing the beautiful accommodation I've got up the coast, how easy it was to find, what a great price it was, and how it's just a joy to be there, seeing the most beautiful beaches and meeting the most beautiful people along the way. And then I see myself arriving at the new place and everything going so smoothly, So the owners have already invited me to stay one night with them before they leave, so they can just calmly show me everything they want to show me. They even have offered to take me out to dinner, which is just so lovely of them. So I'm visualizing everything going super smoothly, super well, meeting them, George being comfortable and happy, even though he has to spend the first couple of days inside. Then I'm seeing the 2 months unfold and how I'm continuing to work with clients. I'm helping them with all this epic thought work that I'm talking about with you now, creating the life that you want to live. By the way, are you the next client that is ready to sign up with me? Just put that thought out there. I also see myself having a great time visiting the area, the beaches, the nearby islands. Yes, there's an island nearby. The towns and places nearby, finding a new gym or a new yoga studio, maybe even running some in-person breath work if it feels aligned. So I think it, I feel it, and I see it. And then I experience it. Whatever I choose to create is what it will become for me. So I encourage you to do the same. Start to notice what you're thinking about something in your life. Is it about a person, a place, a situation, an experience? And if those thoughts are not serving your highest and best good, then you have a choice to keep thinking them or to change them. And that, my friend, that is the beauty of free will. You choose what you want for your life. So what will you choose? Now, if you're not quite sure how to do what I've explained in this video, please do reach out and I'll give you some pointers. And if you want to commit to learning this and using breathwork as the most epic transformational tool to help you get there, please click on the button in this email and book a discovery call with me. I hope this has been super helpful for you today and something you can start implementing right now. So much love. Thank you for listening and being here. I love you.